I began as always in the name of Jesus. This video is going to be doing my review of The Flash Season 1, Episode 9, The Man in the Yellow Suit. Wow. 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 This episode just blew my mind. So on so many levels. Okay, so to begin with this episode, we see in the beginning it's Christmas season and people are setting up the decorating lights. One of them is doing it and all of a sudden the lights go off and we see the Flash and the Reverse Flash fighting together. So it's like, wow. So we go to the next one. So we go flip back to like a day or two before the events of the fight. So we go back there and Barry, Iris, and Joe are just decorating the Christmas tree, and then we go to they're decorating the Christmas tree, and Barry gives Iris a wedding band or something like that. So and then a little bit later we learn from that Iris and Eddie Eddie gives Iris a ring, so it's like, wow. A ring or something, and they decide to move in. So that's cool. So then, next we go to two men. There's some men in an exhibit or science place, and then they go there. A science place, and all of a sudden this yellow blur comes in and kills all of them. That's like what? And that was the entrance of the Reverse Flash. So we go to the. So then we go to the, and then we get Iris, and then Eddie, and then Barry comes onto the crime scene, and then they take note. And it's like he needs to go. He goes there, and he just goes back to his room. Goes back into his room. He goes back into his room and goes back into his little lab, and just like he's having a little bit of a flashback. He's just thinking about the night before his mom died. It's like, wow. It's like this upcoming scene is pretty emotional. So it's like Iris, his mom is just telling him, no need to be afraid of the dark and stuff like that. And Barry's just like, his father's just like, it's just like good night, Slugger, and things like that. So, and then that was a very emotional scene. Very emotional. It feels like both the actors, both John Wesley Shipp and the woman who portrayed Nora Allen nailed it there. And then of course we see the scene where Barry Allen's mom dies. So, wow. And then all of a sudden in the present day, Barry Allen sees the Reverse Flash, and then he goes after him. So he says, you're the one who were in the house when we killed my mom. So it's like, if you want to, and then the Reverse Flash says, if you want to know more, you have to come and catch me. So it's like he runs, and then what follows next is a chase throughout the whole city, and then next is a fight in the stadium. So that was in the stadium, which Flash with Reverse Flash kicking Barry's butt in the end. So yeah. And then Barry goes to Star Labs, tells both Caitlin. I'll have to get to Caitlin a little bit later. Caitlin, Cisco, and Harrison about him, and then they set up some sort of force field or something to catch him. So I have to get to Caitlin. Caitlin is walking home from work, and then he sees a guy in a suit, a guy who sets himself on fire. So that was like shocking. So it was like, and then Caitlin goes to tell Cisco, she saw Ronnie. So it was like, and then so he gets Ronnie to make some sort of tracking device to find them, and then they find him in like the pipe between some pipes, and then he says to himself, it's like he doesn't even remember that his name is Ronnie. when Caitlin confronts him, and then second time, and then Caitlin's, and then he's like, Ronnie's, and the guy's like, I'm Firestorm, and then he leaves. And then next, there's a scene between. That was something of a very emotional scene right there. So, and then next, oh man, next scene, this scene between Barry Allen and Caitlin is amazing, and it's like, oh, but I have to just rewind back. Caitlin asks for some help, asks for some info concerning the Man in Fire, according to Iris's blog, and she's also wondering what's up with Barry. So that is a reference to the next scene. I'll get back to that. And then also Barry Allen asks for some help from Tina McGee as well. Initially she refuses, but then Barry persuades her to help, and what she does. Now to this scene. This scene, what happened between Barry Allen and Iris West in the Christmas tree. So, wow. Wow. And then in this scene, Barry just lets it all out. He just lets out his feelings for her. It's like, he says, I love you. And then it's like, she's like, I love you too. So it's like, and then he says, I love you since I was a little kid. And it's like, it's very emotional. It's like Greg Gustin nailed that scene right there. He nailed it. It was awesome. Very, very good. Very, very good stuff. And so they go on, like, Iris has just left to process all of this. So we get back to and then we see and it's like, before that there was a scene where they said, where Joe West and Bart, and Joe West and Harrison Wells are telling him to stay out of this one when they catch the catch for the reverse flash. So and then he goes to Iron Heights to give his father a call, and this guy's taking a lot from us, don't let him take more. So it's like John Wesley Shipp nailed that scene right then and there. He nailed it. That little chit chat between Barry Allen and his father in the prison, that was a really good scene. So then they finally catch the reverse flash, and then they have a little chit chat with them, and then they ask about him, and then and then he says he's like the reverse of Flash. So nice way of introducing his name to Reverse Flash in universe. I just forgot something about the Barry and the Flash and the Reverse Flash's initial fight. He says, we've been doing this fight for all along, and that it's like, why? It's like, this viewers of this guy, the conversation between the Flash and Reverse Flash just opens a can of worms. Speaking of fights, there's a second fight between Reverse Flash and the Flash this time. Before the Reverse Flash breaks out of his force field, he goes in there and beats the heck out of Harrison Wells, bloodies him up pretty good, and then he knocks out all the police guys. It's like, and he knocks out Eddie Thawne, and then the Flash and the Reverse Flash, they have their second fight, and it's a very epic fight. And then things are kind of going bad for Reverse Flash for the Flash until Firestorm comes in and stops him. So it's like, next time, and then he says, Firestorm says to Caitlin, next time don't fight me. And then Reverse Flash is like, we'll see you soon. So, and then we go to the final, there's a a very heartwarming chit chat between Barry Allen and Joe West. It was a very touching one. Before that, there was a one between him, Joe West, and Eddie Thawne. Is like, I know who the Reverse Flash is, and he saved us. So then he doesn't tell you anymore. So after the little chit chat between Joe West and Barry Allen, they go back to the house where Cisco, Caitlin, Iris, and Eddie are there to surprise him. It's great Christmas stuff. Oh, before that, I need to say this, like, Caitlin was just like crying over finding out her fiance was alive. So good stuff. Wow. So then we get to the stinger. So Harrison Wells goes back into a secret room closet, and then he goes in there. We see the Flash ring for the very first time. If you guys don't notice, the Flash uses a ring where he has his costume. So whenever there's crime, he can just take it out and put it on in the comic book. So anyways, he uses this ring to open up a door, and there we see a Reverse Flash costume, and then he ends with a voice. We see him using the voice of the Reverse Flash. So wow, Harrison Wells might be the Reverse Flash. So this episode was epic. I liked the fight scenes greatly, and there was a lot of emotion in it. A lot of it. And I have to give kudos to the actors as well. Grant Gustin knocked his performance out of the park greatly. As well as John Wesley Shipp. Those two nailed it. I have to give this episode a 10 out of 10. Best episode up to this point. Waiting for this next episode, episode 11, is going to be torture. Alright, that's it for this video.